So first of all, I'd like you to follow the thought that was left here by our previous guest. So can you imagine the world and the real estate world fully digitalized, no papers, just e-documents?
Definitely. I 100% believe that the full transaction process and the facilitation of sales and agreements will take place through a digital process.
It will be a difficult question, but how long may it take? When we will get rid of the papers?
Well, as you already know, the current system and its legacy and archaic method is still being utilized daily internationally. So we're already seeing a lot of growth in putting title deeds on blockchain and the exposure there. I see it happening, but not within the next 5 years. Potentially within the next 10 years, we will see significant growth in a number of countries that will adopt a protocol that will then be a use case for other countries to follow and follow suit. Yeah.
Okay, Mark, so the blockchain revolution makes the industry transform in the way that some people may not be happy with. So basically, the people who are going to lose their positions are middlemen. Will we have a real estate industry without middlemen at all?
Well, from what we're looking at, because just to give you a bit of a description of what we're doing and what our involvement is at Avarium, is that we're actually doing a ICO, ITO, real estate private equity strategy. So we're leveraging the idea of using blockchain tokens through equity crowdfunding, and then that's basically our fundraise and then execute into real estate assets. So there's an actual tangible real estate underlying the actual tokens that we're issuing. But to get to your question about middlemen, yes, there will be that reduction in middlemen, which hopefully improves efficiency. Obviously, all the reasons, typical reasons that people would want to see the elimination of middlemen is that it takes out the dishonest factors that exist in real estate, takes out double listings. I mean, if you've been living in Dubai, you've probably gone to an apartment and shown the same apartment by 3 or 4 different real estate agents. So if you can create a greater efficiency around this and also in terms of greater trust, so that there's a easier process without any risk of losing funds. I mean, you're always taking that gap of a risk in time between handing over your checks, those checks being cashed, and then you actually having a tangible tenancy in your hands. So these kinds of elements can be ideally reduced and phased out. That there's a greater direct relationship between the property itself, the potential tenant, and the ownership, which I think would be good for both parties.
So let's try to sum up what you said to this point. If I understand in a good way, then the ownership status, which is quite difficult sometimes to agree who's the owner of the property, who's not. With blockchain, there will be no doubt. You will see the code and it will say exactly who's the owner.
Well, there will be no issue in terms of verifying the identity of the owner and transparently getting. It's not going to be potential for anyone to go and Photoshop anything and be utilized as legible. That's the main concern right now. Is the ability to commit fraud is very easy.
Okay, so the blockchain, the revolution in terms of real estate, it's not only touching the B2B sector. It's actually for all of us.
It comes down to the consumer level for sure.
Okay, let's get back to the ICO idea. So you are releasing tokens.
Yes. Yes. So, can everybody hear me normally if I speak without this thing?
I can hear you.
Yeah.
I can hear you.
All right, let's just put this down. It's a bit smaller. Don't worry about the microphone. Okay, so yeah, we're basically using equity crowdfunding, leveraging tokens. So the main token that we're issuing is technically a security token, but we will be phasing in also a utility token to insert into basically as a currency for some of the assets that we're going to be acquiring. The type of assets that we're acquiring, we're not looking at big, any kind of much in terms of residential. It's more like hospitality, hospitality assets, potentially some industrial assets. Nothing that's greenfield, so nothing that's going to have a development timeline and development risks. But we want to be able to leverage blockchain technology for transaction elements within these types of assets. So hospitality could be multiple transactions. It could be your service department where there's at least a monthly transaction happening. But also on the industrial or more corporate side of things, it could be utility tokens being applied to other types of transactions that are around that. Also, we want to look at leveraging blockchain for initiatives like energy savings, building remediation, IoT, and building monitoring.
Yeah, so utilizing the utility token within their platform, we want to do a lot of connections. So a lot of the aspects that Ivarium brought to the table were connecting with external sources, government sources, and keeping the transaction process, whether it be your day-to-day, paying your rent, paying your utility bills, paying for your parking, leasing out your parking. A lot of the innovative ideas that Ivarium has brought to the table gave a lot of clear insight into how we can make these private channels in a blockchain for them to facilitate these processes and have that interoperability with the ecosystem that exists today, and trying to leverage a digital ambiance, symbiotic. Go ahead.
It seems like to make these dreams, let's call it this way, realize, you need a good environment. So probably Dubai is the best place to work on such.
So as Block Gemini, we based ourselves out of Dubai. Luckily, right before the time of the inception of blockchain technology, is their 2020 vision, and it's been very prosperous over here in terms of everyone's outlook on the industry and how innovative things are going over here. Compared to everywhere else in the world, it's moving a lot faster, and there's a lot of driven talent and driven enterprises here wanting to on the same path.
Okay, guys, thank you very much. Thanks for joining.
Thank you.